It was about 10 years ago at Hollywood Park. I had a shack job, 2 cars, a house, and a dog as big as Nero drunk, and I was making it with the horses, or I thought I was. But going into the 7th race, I was down to my last $50, and I put the 50 on determine, and then I wanted a cup of coffee, but I only had a dime left, and coffee was 15 cents. I went into the crapper, and I wanted to flush myself away. They had me. All I had left was that piece of paper in my wallet, and I would have been willing to sell it back for $40, but I was ashamed. Well, I went out and watched the race, and determined won. I collected and set aside a 10 and put the remainder all on my Bobby Boy. My Bobby Boy made it. I collected and stood over in the corner, separating the 50s and the 20s and 10s and 5s, and then I drove on in. I gave her the thumbs up as I drove up the drive, and when I got inside, I threw all the money up into the air. She was a beautiful whore, and her eyes almost came out when she saw that, and the dog ran in and snatched a 10 and ran into the kitchen, and I was pouring drinks, and she said, "Hey, the hound got a tenner." And I said, "Hell, let him have it," and we drank him down. And then I said, "I think I'll get that 10 anyhow." And I walked in and took it from him. It was only chewed a little. And that night on the bed, she showed me all the tricks in Wonderland. And later it rained, and we listened to Carmen and drank and laughed all night long. Days and nights like that just don't happen too often. You have been listening to A Last Shot on Two Good Horses by Charles Bukowski, read by Edward Cabras.